¿Cómo llegas a la historia de Bisbee?
How did you get to the Bisbee story?
So I first went to Bisbee in 2003, so 15 years ago, and I fell in love with the place, and immediately, just was a place that you can't help but fall in love with. I think you probably see that on the screen. And then immediately heard about the deportation. So my love and sort of, feeling strange about the place were wrapped up in one sort of thing. So that was 15 years ago. We've been trying to figure out how to make the film since then.
You find Fernando in this story. At what point he got in the picture?
Well, I'll let Bennett tell the story, and then Fernando, you can tell what you think of the first time you met us. But the story proves that film directors often don't know what the hell they're talking about. So, because Bennett's the producer and she knew what she was doing. So why don't you take?
Well, on our first trip to Bisbee, Robert wanted to find someone to play a minor, and we had been working in town with a woman who recommended Fernando. She sent us a picture of him, and I thought that he was perfect, and Robert was skeptical. Robert thought he was too pretty.
Hola, México. Sí, así pasó la historia. Me encontraron en el restaurante que trabajo yo y me dijeron, ¿quieres estar en una película? Y luego, pues ahí aquí estamos.
Yeah, that's how it happened. They found me in the restaurant I work at, and they told me, hey, you want to be in the film? And well, here we are.
And the first story, we were just trying to do some tests basically at first, and I just wanted to see would this work if we dress someone up as a minor, have them walk through the town, what would that look like? And we were in front of the mines, and Fernando just starts telling this really personal story that was just full of emotion, and you had a tear in your eye because you were just sort of processing and standing in front of those giant holes in the earth, dressed up as a miner from 100 years ago. And I realized that's what the film we wanted to make was. It wasn't just about the past, it wasn't just about the present, it was about how they mix together. So in a way, meeting Fernando and me, following Bennett's lead is what guided us to the final place that the film landed, was us connecting, to figure out how to do it.
First question's for Fernando. Did you have access to Robert's earlier films beforehand and seeing how his principal characters go through the emotional toll of his style and it's a true mental anguish yeah.
So it's really funny because I still haven't watched any of Robert's other films. So yeah, a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, he's a big deal, and you should check out his films." So I didn't want to jinx it and think about it too much, because we were doing another different project, and I felt like if I did watch these films, it would be a lot of pressure, and it just wouldn't be me. So now I will check it out.
Well, congratulations for all the noms yesterday for the Cinema Eye Honors. It's a big deal. Did you know that this entire town, or did you have this as an idea that you'd go through this Stanford prison experiment thing where people actually get a stronger sense of what the past might have happened in the past, but also how they sort of got into the game and sort of start playing the characters and start losing themselves in the characters?
Well, I would say the first idea I had 15 years ago was, let's reenact this with the locals. And I don't necessarily know why. I don't really like documentary reenactment as a thing. So there was something there. And I think it was probably just because Bisbee it feels like a film set. It feels like a place that is simultaneously the past and the present. And that is just built into everything. And so when you hear the story, it's almost like you see the ghosts, when you walk down the streets, because you feel the loss, you feel that sense. And so my idea I was like, well, just reenact this, and I had no idea what that meant or how to pull that off at all. And when you see the photographs, so this is a very well documented event, which is a little bit haunting because it was also immediately suppressed. So the documentation that no one ever talked about it for 100 years or so. But when you see the photographs, everything is really hauntingly serene and calm. Part of that is just who's taking those photographs, because someone was alerted, most likely by the company, that this is going to happen, and you should be there to document it, which is a strange impulse. But our first idea was to have the reenactment on the day, the big, large-scale thing, to feel that same sort of stilted, haunted calmness. And then I said action, and then people just went at each other, like the yelling and screaming and pushing and shoving. We didn't direct anybody to do that. Like when you're screaming in the face of James West, which was very entertaining for all of us, that wasn't me saying, hey, okay, Fernando, get more in his face. It happened, you know? So I think that's where we realized whatever our idea was, this had turned into something completely different and sort of transformed. But after I want to hear what you have to say about those days.
Se sentía mal, entonces como ser humano dices, eso no es bien, eso no es, así no se trata a la gente. Entonces fue me sentí que alguien más estaba a mi lado diciéndome, haz más.
Sí, todo. Everything was very organic, really, because the ghost of this place and of these people follow you and haunt you, and they tell you what to do. Really, when I was there, I mean, I had like these voice that was telling me this just doesn't feel right. I really had no idea about what had happened there in the past, but there was an energy about the events that really told me that these things were not right. There was no way to treat people. So it was as if somebody was actually telling me that wasn't right, and I should do more and more. First of all, congratulations on this excellent production. And what I wanted to ask is about the role of memory. And what's the role of memory in this social rupture that you portray, and the ruptures and the breakouts in terms of family and neighborhood and labor relationships as well. So what can you tell us about that?
Well, Bisbee's a place that is a memory in a sense, because the mines have been closed for 40 plus years, and the families that are left, the mining families that are left in town, they're not there because of the mining, they're there because they love the place, and they're there because they're connected to the place. And they're still, in a sense, if you're connected to the place in Bisbee, you're connected to the company, because it was a place that was invented by the company. It's not like a town, you know, where a company came into town and sort of took over. The company invented the town. So people's feeling about the land is inextricably linked to their feeling about what mining means and what the company means. And so the trauma of a family, the shame, the feelings of shame and embarrassment that come along when you deported, like say the Ray family, where a brother deported a brother or something like that, that tore their family apart. And so just what we found, I mean, I think, you know, when we first got there, we immediately sensed that this anniversary was going to be a change for the town. And some of that we instigated, we pushed along, but most of it was happening already. And most of it was people finally ready to work through things, people finally ready to confront this sort of collective memory, because it hadn't been confronted before. And it's a strange thing for the things to feel so far in the past to feel so present at the same time. And we started before Trump was elected. When by the time we were doing these images, we were creating these images together, I feel like everyone knew exactly what the political reason for doing this film at that moment when we were reenacting the major scenes. I think people understood. So it wasn't just something in the past. It felt very urgent and very present for everyone those days that we did that. So, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying, and thank you for playing the film. This is great to be at this festival. I'm very proud to be here with my best friends, Fernando and Bennett, best producer and true star of a movie in every way. So thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Muchas gracias por haberse quedado.